Senator James Paterson, who's new to Canberra. He's suggesting that the federal government should sell off the iconic Jackson Pollock painting Blue Poles. The artwork was controversially purchased by the National Gallery in 1973 for $1.3 million. It's now insured for around $350 million. And Senator James Paterson says we should cash in on our investment. He's on the line, the Victorian Liberal Senator James Paterson. Good afternoon.
Pleasure to be with you, Ben.
Are you an art lover or not?
Look, I wouldn't say I'm the number one art lover. I'm not the number one ticket holder of the National Gallery, but, I certainly appreciate good art.
What's wrong with Blue Poles and what's wrong with us keeping it?
Nothing wrong with it at all. It's just too good an opportunity, I think, to turn down. $350 million on one single painting is a bit crazy, particularly because it's not even an Australian artwork or an Australian artist. It's a very significant piece of work, but when we've got $470 billion of gross debt at the federal government level alone, when we're paying $1.3 billion a month in interest payments alone, I think we have to seriously examine whether it's appropriate for the government to have such an expensive piece of art.
Wouldn't we be mad to offload this great investment? Forget the art qualities. $1.3 million we purchased it for, and now it's insured for around $350 million.
It sure has been a good investment, but that'll only mean something to taxpayers if we ever sell it. At the moment, it's just been a paper gain, and it's increased a lot, about 13.9% a year in per annum terms. That's a good result, but we're only going to feel the benefit of that if we actually realise that at some point by selling it.
All right, if you were to sell it off at $350 million, we would reduce our gross national debt by 0.07%. That's it.
That's right, Ben, but imagine you're a marathon runner and you're at the start of the marathon and someone says, if you take your first step, it's only going to be 0.1% towards the way of finishing the marathon, so don't even bother taking the first step. No one would take that attitude. The reality is we've got a big problem with debt. We have to start somewhere, and I think this is a good place to start.
You think we need to look at how we fund sport in Australia as well?
Well, look, I think the priority here is this proposal I've made today, but I think it's a fair thing to examine when we have a $39 billion budget deficit, as we did last financial year, whether we can afford to fund professional sport particularly, which is it's a lot of support from the private sector.
Okay, you're not expecting that the Prime Minister's going to order the people at the National Gallery to get out the hammer and start taking down Blue Poles?
I won't hold my breath, but you never know, Ben. You never know your luck.
You've been described as a Philistine today. What do you say to that?
Oh, a bit harsh, I think, but look, this is public debate. This is what happens. You put out controversial ideas, people certainly respond, and they're entitled to.
Welcome.